The LSU Tigers are taking on the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers for the Baseball National Championship. It's the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers riding a 26-game winning streak, yet it's the LSU Tigers who appear to be a little bit overconfident. It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right. Hello, everyone. Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Download the app or head to FanDuel.com to get started. Bet with FanDuel, official partner of the NBA. All right, we will break down Coastal Carolina and LSU like we have done previously, and then we will talk about the Sun Belt Conference, ever-changing world. As of, again, on Wednesday, we will, or I guess it's Thursday, sorry. As of Thursday, Louisiana Tech was being blocked. Again, it can change, all right? It is a fluid situation. I don't understand how anybody can get confused with a 30-second video clip, but apparently people were confused. All right. So it will be Coastal Carolina and LSU, as we found out yesterday, following the Arkansas meltdown in the ninth inning. And so I certainly don't, well, let's be honest, all right? Coastal Carolina's got the one championship. They're in the Sun Belt. LSU is in the SEC. They're going for championship number 8. If you've never been to Tiger Stadium or the Box, Alex Box Stadium, Tiger Stadium is a football stadium. If you've never been to the Box, they have the wall. It's called the Intimidator, and it is impressive. All right. They won 5 championships in 10 years. It's really impressive. All right. They were college baseball in the 90s. It took Maneri a little bit of time to win one, and then Jay Johnson came in there and won another one just a couple of years ago. All right. So they've won 7. Mm-hmm. And so they are the branding, and you do have a lot of fans. I know about my generation, I guess, would be my generation, that grew up in Omaha that are LSU fans because they came every year and they were winning every year or every other year. So you have a lot of people who are from Omaha that are LSU Tiger fans. So this will be, it's not going to be LSU East, it'll be LSU Central. All right. It will be a massive home field advantage for LSU. But so what? All right. Because these teams have met before, haven't they? And it wasn't in Conway, South Carolina, and it wasn't in Omaha. It was in the Box. It wasn't this, it was a while ago. It was in 2016. But certainly LSU was a much more massive favorite to win that super regional than they are to win these 2 ball games or 2 of the next 3. And they lost those 2 games, or at least 2 out of the 3 at home in Baton Rouge. I was actually there for those ball games. That was a different kind of team. I certainly don't know as much about the LSU team this year as I did that one. That was a kind of a little bit of a younger LSU baseball team. Whereas the Coastal Carolina team was a bunch of veterans, like juniors, seniors, and grads. And that's well before transfers and outside of junior college kids and NIL. That's 2016. That's a long time ago, the way we're talking about college sports these days. We will get to the line here, but it just feels like, someone's talking to me about the law of averages. Go look in the comments. Have I ever heard of the law of averages? Every time Coastal Carolina wins, they get closer to losing. That's what we're going with after a 26-game winning streak. You're not going to go with who could be the number 1 pitcher in the country? We're going with the law of averages? Maybe you do that like after a 7 or 8-game winning streak, but not after 26 games. They're not going to lose because of the law of averages are going to catch up with them. Come on. That's kind of a hope and a prayer if that's what you're going with. but they just seem very cocky. Like it says, I said SEC bias because of the betting line. And someone goes, no, they're much more talented. All right. One team has won 26 in a row. One team just lost to Little Rock a couple of weeks ago. Right. The closest that this team, Coastal, has lost as of recently, I guess, was Auburn. Right. They kind of, blew a 6-1 lead, but they were down 5-4 to ECU, blinked, 18-7 win. Right? And they can be versatile, either way. They can have an 18-7 win and then take on ECU and win 1-0. That's pretty good. All right. And we will get to the one huge advantage that LSU does have. And they do have one big advantage. But everything else is really close. Really close. If I am LSU, I would go in confident. I'm not scared of Coastal Carolina. That's not what I would be. I'm confident because I'm good, but I wouldn't be cocky. Right? This would be one of those things. I guess something was taken out of context. I don't know anything about Coastal Carolina. It was taken out of context. If anybody knows anything about Coastal Carolina, it should be LSU. All right. Now, nobody was there. All right. Except the voice of Alex Box. I don't know if Chris Blair was doing baseball yet, but Bill Frankus was. He was certainly there. If anybody knows anything about Coastal Carolina, it's LSU, right? They should know about them because they beat them on the way to winning the national championship. And that LSU team, I don't know if it was better than this one, but certainly was, again, a much bigger favorite to win those ball games than this one is. All right. This one may have, hold on. If that was Alex Lang's first year, I don't think Alex Lang lost. Right. I mean, it was pretty good. So I just feel like they're, I guess, typical cocky LSU fans because we're LSU. We can't lose to Coastal Carolina. We lose to Arkansas or Tennessee or Florida. Okay, they're on our level. Coastal Carolina is really good. And they haven't really come that close to losing outside of maybe Auburn in the first ball game of the regional when they lined into a couple of double plays. That's as close as they've come to losing. And they came close, Hey, it was the 9th inning and they lined into double play. Blake Barthol made a diving play. All right. That's how close they came to losing that first ball game. All right. But other than that, they didn't lose to Little Rock. LSU did. So I don't mind if LSU is confident. They should be confident. They seem very cocky for a team or school that has lost to this team before en route to a national championship and needed an Arkansas meltdown to get to this position. LSU made some plays as well. All right. They got some I don't know about some base hits, but they didn't need one thing to go right for them last night in the 9th inning, or 2 things, or 3 things. They needed 4 different things for them to win that ball game in the 9th last night. And it was a meltdown from the first baseman going too wide, turning a throw from the second baseman into an error, from the SEC Player of the Year throwing to third instead of turning a double play, from the left fielder slipping at having the ball go off his shoulder, to the second baseman not quite getting the hot shot line drive off the top of his glove. So again, not 1, not 2, not 3, 4 different things going wrong for Arkansas just for LSU to get here. Not saying that they wouldn't get here, but they got very close to having to play again. All right. Not so much for Coastal. So again, I wouldn't have a problem with LSU being confident. They certainly are confident. They have a great 1-2 punch pitching. They got a huge slugger. They're a very good baseball team. I think they're counting their Tigers before they're hatched. Let's put it that way. All right. That's the way I see it. They are very confident, a little bit too confident for my liking. Doesn't mean they won't win. All right. They can still win. They're very good. Right. But it feels like they are cocky a little bit too much. And if anybody knows about Coastal Carolina, it should be the LSU Tigers. All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back. We'll talk about these matchups because it is incredibly close. Coastal Carolina has the one advantage that we have been talking about throughout. We'll get back to that. And in this case, LSU has one major advantage as well. We'll do that right after I tell you about FanDuel. The NBA playoffs, well, they're just actually about wrapping up. And every night delivers highlight-worthy performances, major momentum shifts, and can't-miss moments. Whether it's a game-winning shot, we've seen plenty of those, or a breakout player, seen plenty of those, there's never been a better time to get in on the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performance trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. All right, the line for this National Championship Series is LSU Tigers minus 174, Coastal Carolina plus 136. I think that's basically where it was, well, yesterday or a couple of days ago. New to FanDuel? It's a perfect time to sign up. Head to FanDuel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. I don't know how much it matters, but it was pointed out to me there is no sports betting in South Carolina where there is in Louisiana. So nobody in South Carolina can place a sports bet where there will be plenty of LSU fans betting in Louisiana. I don't know what is in Nebraska, right where they all are. All right, Dave Schultz, Lockdown Sunbelt, your teams every day. This team, this matchup is incredibly close. All right. LSU comes in with, I thought, a 298 batting average. Coastal Carolina is hitting 290. All right. Very close. LSU has hit more home runs, 103 to Coastal 66. Okay. So almost, 37 more home runs? But LSU has only scored 24 more runs. They scored 530 runs. Coastal has 506 runs. So they have 37 home runs hit, but they've only scored 24 more runs. I should mention Coastal has played one more ball game. I don't know how that happened, but one has 67 games. The other has 66. Okay. The one big advantage, other than more home runs, is, the home run guy in LSU's lineup that Coastal does not have. They have Bear Jones. He's got 22 home runs. Seems to have snapped out of his slump. He was slumping a few days ago. He's now not slumping. 22 home runs, 76 runs batted in. He is the big first baseman, and he can hit mammoth home runs. All right. They do have 4 guys with double-digit home runs, plus Luis Hernandez, who came off the bench to get it going. In fact, not get it going. He had the base hit, or if you will, the fly ball to left off the left fielder's shoulder that brought home the 2 runs to tie the ball game up. All right. So there's 4 guys that have double-digit home runs. Coastal has 2. Alexander has 10. Barthol has 12. Yes. Correct. All right. So, and there's, of course, a handful of guys of Coastal Carolina that have hit home runs, but only the 2 guys have double digits, and nobody has 22 like Jared Jones. So Jared Jones is the big bopper, one of a few, but he's the big bopper in LSU's lineup. Coastal doesn't have anything like that. All right. LSU will swipe a bag or 2. They're more or less waiting for that 3-run home run. They've attempted 70 stolen bases. They have 51 stolen bases successfully. Coastal Carolina's got over 100 stolen bases, so they will test you. Now, oddly enough, both opponents have 51 stolen bases attempted against. Very odd. All right. That's exactly the same amount. Bodine has allowed 32 successfully, so he's thrown out 19 guys. LSU has allowed 38, so the Tigers have only thrown out 13. So that would seem to be, in a series, you can take advantage of that, especially if you do play a third ball game. Speed can play a big part of that. So that is a big difference. All right, so that's on the offensive side of the ball. Pitching-wise, it's closer than you think. All right, LSU is going to tell you not, but it is. LSU's got a couple of really good pitchers. All right, we are not going to downplay their two top pitchers. All right, Kade Anderson is mocked potentially as the number one pitcher. I was told he was mocked as the potentially he could be the number one pitcher, but the third pick in the draft to the Mariners. He may be the number one pick in the draft. He is 11-1 in 18 starts with a 3.44 ERA. Number two guy, Anthony Einson, he's 11-2 with a 2.92 ERA. All right. These numbers are ridiculously good. 88 hits in 110 innings pitched for Kade Anderson, 170 strikeouts in those 110 innings pitched with only 30 walks. He's from the left side. I believe Einson is from the right side, 101 and 2/3 innings pitched with 81 hits, 35 walks, and 143 strikeouts. That's what's going to happen Saturday and Sunday. Okay. Who goes Monday for LSU? I'm not sure. We will hopefully find that out if it does happen on a Monday, we will hopefully have a crossover edition with Matt Mascona on a special edition on Saturday. All right. We'll hopefully have that going on. As for Coastal Carolina, we presume it will be, well, it's going to be one or the other, right? It's going to be Fluky and Morrison. Tough to get better numbers than Jacob Morrison. He's 12-0 with a 2.08 ERA, 73 hits and 104 innings pitched. Pitches more to contact, 102 strikeouts with only 22 walks. Opponents only hitting 194 against him. Cam Fluky with a 3.29 ERA, 74 hits, 95 and 2/3 innings. Also more to contact, 109 strikeouts, but only 22 walks. All right. Here's the thing. The ERA for Coastal is 3.22. Surprisingly, the ERA for LSU is 3.80. Okay. So that's a little bit interesting. And that's a little bit better. All right. And obviously going to be pared down. I would presume Riley Eichhoff is going to pitch on Monday if it gets that far. You do have Luke Jones. You'll have Hayden Johnson. You have Dominic Carbone and Lynch all rested up, raring to go, as will LSU's pitchers, all rested up. Did not pitch on Thursday, obviously, with their win over Arkansas. Again, I can understand why LSU is confident. I don't think they should be overconfident. They're a good baseball team. Let's not make any mistake about it. LSU's good. They do have the one advantage in Jared Jones. That is the one glaring thing. That is the one big difference they got. But don't let them tell you that there's a huge difference between Kade Anderson and Einson than there is between Fluky and Jacob Morrison. There's not. All right. The Coastal Carolina pitchers are just as good. Where I think, I will say, all right, the higher the games get in scoring, I think the advantage goes to LSU. The lower the scoring is, the better it is for Coastal Carolina. Doesn't mean that Coastal Carolina can't score, but I'm not going to conflate them scoring 11 runs against a Louisville pitcher who hadn't pitched in a month, going up against Kade Anderson and Anthony Einson. All right, those are two different things. All right. I think Coastal Carolina can compete. I think they're going to win. I'm waiting for a little bit better odds. I was hoping more money would come down on LSU. It still might. Hoping it would be 2-1, but it's not quite yet. I'm certainly going to take Coastal Carolina, being a little bit of a homer pick, but I think Coastal Carolina can do it. I think LSU is a little bit too overconfident. And oddly enough, oddly enough, it's crazy. The pressure's all on LSU. The team with the 26-game winning streak, and the pressure's on LSU for the same reason they think they're going to win it, because they're LSU. It's incredibly ridiculous. You'd think the pressure would be on the team with the 26-game winning streak. So I think Coastal's going to do this. They do. They can, again, scratch across runs. They can play any way that you want. They can manufacture runs. They will do more bunting than LSU. They're not going to be lacking of confidence. All right. It should be two great pitching matchups, though. It really will be. It may come down to bullpens. We'll see. All right. But everyone is rested and raring to go. And it should be great matchups. It is a Sunday afternoon game, though. I think I'm working. We may have to. Oh, I'm working the front desk. I'm going to get yelled at watching. I'm going to get yelled at watching the game. We'll have to have the phone down a little bit underneath. But I am off on Friday. But the Saturday game is Saturday evening. So we'll have to sneak in. Watching it at the front desk on the phone. Okay. All right. Meanwhile, Sun Belt expansion. We did have more news on Thursday. We'll talk about that right after this. I mean, you guys are the best. I mean, we are going to set a record number of views, and we could do it in 3 weeks. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. It is great to know what moves the needle. 8,000 views in like 3 days. All right. We could have a 40,000 view month. The best has been 30. Really do appreciate it. Don't forget about the audio podcasts, Apple Podcast and Spotify. It's a big help. So we want to get those up and running as well. So don't forget, you can do it when you're, driving, most importantly, cleaning up around the house, exercising, taking a walk around the neighborhood. You don't need to be watching all the time. You can do those audio podcasts as well. They are very, very convenient. All right. Let's get back to it. We'll talk about Sun Belt expansion right after this. All right, Dave Schultz, Lockdown Sun Belt, your teams every day. Okay, so I need to make a couple of things clear. First of all, I don't get paid for clicks. I don't even know what that means. I do get paid for the podcast. I don't mind saying that. So if you want to subscribe, it would be a big help. It's not a lot of money, but every little bit of money helps. And that's why I'm asking for the audio podcast. So you want to, subscribe to Apple and Spotify, please do. And YouTube. It's all help. All right. I just pass along the information. Information changes. As I mentioned with our guy, Sean Fox from Sports Talk 97.7 in Ruston, LSU was going to fire Les Miles. They changed their mind at halftime. Doesn't mean the information was wrong. When people were saying he was getting fired, someone changed their mind. All right. Could have been financial, whatever it was. They won the ball game. The governor said, we can't afford it. We're changing our mind. All right. So things can change. On Thursday, I was told that Louisiana Tech was being blocked. Oddly enough, I don't think it's ironic or a coincidence. Neither one of those two things. Just is. The Louisiana schools want Louisiana Tech in. All right. The Cajuns want them in. ULM wants them in. I want them in. All right. The Eastern schools apparently don't. That's would be the ones who don't. Okay. For whatever reason. All right. For whatever reason, they don't want Louisiana Tech in. All right. Other than it does not, they feel like the Louisiana market is saturated, doesn't move the needle TV market wise. That's the reason. All right. It is a fluid situation. Again, Sean Fox hosts an afternoon show in Ruston. He says it is not a done deal, which I don't think I said it was a done deal either, right? in a 37-second video clip, I said it was a fluid situation and things can change. So I said at the time it was being blocked. I do know, I do like that John Hartwell went on there with sports anchor KNOE sports director Aaron Dietrich to go on the record. John Hartwell, the ULM AD. You don't see that. I haven't seen any ADs lately. Well, it's not difficult to get John Hartwell to talk. He likes doing it. Very gregarious man. And they talked about a few things, right? ULM dropping down to FCS, and he said no to that, and that's good news. All right, we're going to move forward as an FBS institution. But he said that it's moving towards Louisiana Tech coming in. Kind of felt like he was lobbying, is what it sounded like to me. As I mentioned, the Louisiana schools want them in. He had mentioned some other schools didn't. It sounded like he was sort of putting it out there that, come on, guys, we need, and specifically ULM, needs Louisiana Tech in, right? I mean, it is talk about a commute, for all the schools, all the teams back and forth. I mean, it is back before lights out. You go play a soccer game or a softball game, and you're back before midnight. Back the same day. That's pretty cool. That does not happen very often when you're traveling. So that's the way it sounded to me. All right. It sounded like he was kind of lobbying for it. Again, I'm for it. So just because I'm passing along the information that I'm being told that's being blocked, sounds like I'm not for it. I am. I want Louisiana Tech in. I think it's best for the conference. I think it's best for the rivalry. The Marshall fans do not. I saw that. The Marshall fans do not. So we'll see where we go from there. I was also told, again, no discussion has been held with Liberty. All right. I don't know if I'm throwing it out there, to be honest with you, or if other people threw it out there, but I picked up on it. So I don't know if I'm picking up on my own thing or if people had been throwing it out there once I mentioned ECU. All right. So that's how this all ball got started. Someone a couple of days ago, first thing in the morning, said, oh, hey, by the way, we reached out to ECU, we being the Sun Belt. All right. Again, ECU called back saying we're waiting and seeing. And again, even Sean Fox said, by the way, nothing's happened. Texas State hasn't left yet. Again, I think it's all going to happen by July 1st. That's when I think it's going to happen. So it's 11 days. It's 10, 11 days away. So it's not going to be too long before then. So we shall see. But that's the latest. Don't have anything more. Again, a couple of days ago, they mentioned, the source did mention Middle Tennessee and Western Kentucky has been discussed. But that's been about it. That was discussed amongst the Sun Belt. It was not, they weren't approached, and they don't know if there's any interest either. All right. It should also be mentioned, Louisiana Tech has the interest in joining the Sun Belt. The Louisiana schools have interest in Louisiana Tech joining the Sun Belt. It wasn't so much the Sun Belt had interest in Louisiana Tech. And it was Pete Thamel who put it out there on Sunday. No, that wasn't me or my source. It was Pete Thamel who threw the first pitch. And so I'm guessing that's all coming from the Louisiana Tech side. And sometimes it's not very difficult to figure out who the sources are. When you see, an LSU beat writer telling you that Paul Skeens is coming to the LSU baseball game, doesn't take a super genius to figure out who the source may be. Anyway, so I'll continue to continue to update. I'll probably get some more news on Friday. I am off, going on a couple of shows. We will do hopefully the crossover with Matt Moscona to preview Coastal Carolina and LSU. That will be a bonus episode on Saturday. And anything that I get, I will pass along. Sometimes I can't pass it along immediately. I have a job. I do pass it along during the breaks. Wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if, my company wanted to sponsor the podcast. Try to get that in there. See if they are interested in doing that. Certainly getting a lot of views. I mean, on Twitter, it's like 450,000 views in the last 2 days. I've never seen such a thing. Believe you me, Baker Loy, I wish I was getting paid for all the views and quote clicks. There's nothing to click. There's no links in there. It's just me. I don't know what people are clicking. All right. Thank you so much. Again, we'll be back again. Should be a crossover episode. We had Matt Mascona from Locked On LSU. We'll have a full preview of Coastal Carolina and the Tigers prior to Saturday's ballgame. Thank you so much for tuning in. You've been watching Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Have a tremendous Friday, everybody. We'll talk to you again on Saturday.